day, good day. How you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day, and you'll be right.
In today's prophecy update, there's a couple interesting items worth noting. And again, some of this news article is not anything new in one sense, because we're hearing this rhetoric over and over with Hezbollah and Hamas. But this latest article that came out on Friday, how Hezbollah Nasrallah threatens Israel, saying the day of great war is coming. So this came out of the Times of Israel, where the leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah terror group, who is also funded by Iran, said on Friday that men will not leave Syria even if the whole world tries to force them to go, adding the only request from the Syrian government would prompt such a move. Hassan Nasrallah said Israel had for years hoped that the president of Syria would leave and fall or step down. Now that seems unlikely, he said. Israel's new goal is to drive out Iran and Hezbollah out of Syria. And then there's other articles that talks about where that's not going to happen. They're going to continue to keep their presence there within Syria until Syria is liberated, which was another article that came out on Tuesday out of Al Jazeera. And so you can see there's this continued threat against Israel from Hezbollah. We've mentioned how they had 150,000 rockets aimed at Israel. We also continue to see the vengeance of Hamas and the Palestinians. There was another mention out of the Ynet News that senior Hamas member warns of next wave of demonstration will be bloodier. So he said this on Tuesday: a failure to ease economic restrictions in Gaza will lead to a bloodier wave of protest in the Gaza Strip. So what you're seeing more and more is the development, as we talk about all the time, is the Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38 scenarios. All these are coming to play. And so it's one of those, it's just a matter of time. One of these days, one of these weeks, you're going to see this war breaking out if we're still here. So it's just a matter of timing on that. Another interesting article that came out of the Bloomberg website that talked about how Angela Merkel of Germany, she urges Europe to step up in Trump's New World Order. And basically, she was talking about how to make a forceful pitch for Europe to play a more aggressive role in global affairs as U.S. President Donald Trump dismantles the post-World War II order, setting the stage for a potential tense standoff of the Group of Seven summit this coming week, which they just wrapping up right now. But within this particular article, she talked about how a rotating group of 10 member states could work to veto power France and the European Commission in order to speak with one European voice on the global stage. So it's interesting she mentions that because in Revelation chapter 17 talks about this 10-nation scenario, confederacy. So the talk is there. The nations are lining up. And again, in Revelation 17, there's this picture of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. The 10 horns represents the 10 nations within Europe. Of course, there's more nations right now, but they're all going to line up. They're all going to come together. And the Antichrist will rule. So it's one of those signs of the times. We're seeing things coming closer and closer to fulfillment. And then lastly, this article kind of just dumbfounds you of how stupid some of the countries are getting with its laws and the way they're accepting certain things. This one came out of the Telegraph, and also Brett Bart talks about how transgender parent demands baby is first in UK to be legally motherless. So a baby could become born in England and Wales to not legally have a mother if it's a female to male transgender activist wins this court battle, historically altering Britain's definition of family. I know it's dumbfounding to hear this, but this is what's going on right now. A parent who was born a woman still retains the female biology, including the ability to bear children, has identified as a man for years and wants to begin the process of effectively legally erasing the essential role of biological women giving birth. The activist, as a single parent who has undergone upper body surgery to resemble a man, now wants to be recognized as the child's parent or father on the baby's birth certificate. So the transgender man has taken legal action against the births, deaths, and that sort of organization within the United Kingdom, complaining of discrimination and claiming being described as a mother giving birth will violate her human rights. So the judge began hearing these arguments on Thursday and explained that the issue had not been raised in any of the courts within England or Wales before. But if this passes through, if the transgender man wins the case, the government might be forced to change the laws, permanently altering how Britain legally defines women, mothers, and family. I know it sounds bizarre, but this is going to continue to trickle throughout other countries as well. It's getting crazy, it's insane, but this is kind of the end times. It's going to be just nuts what's going on around the world. It's going to get a lot crazier, but this is one of those things. Are you serious? You can't be serious, But it just seems like if people don't rise up and put a stop to this madness, it's going to get a lot worse. So we need to be alert. We need to be watchful. We need to stay in the Word and prayer. We need to be busy for the Lord and serving Him until He comes back. Amen? And that's it for today's update.